Imagine waking up every morning surrounded by something that the rest of the world only sees in dreams or in movies they assume are fiction. These are not lost civilizations buried under centuries of dust. These are not abandoned ruins frozen in some forgotten era of human history. These are real, breathing, living communities, and the people inside them have built entire lives in places that should, by every law of logic and nature, be completely impossible to inhabit. What you are about to see will make you question everything you thought you knew about where human beings can and cannot survive. From a village floating on the surface of the open ocean, constructed entirely from bamboo and the sheer force of human will, to an ancient city carved into the face of a sheer vertical cliff, connected to the outside world by a single, narrow tunnel. From a mountain community, so isolated that winter literally seals it off from the rest of civilization for months at a time, to an oasis so surreal it looks like it was painted by someone who had never seen reality. We have found 5 of the most extraordinary places on this planet, and people call them home. If you are new here and you love content that takes you beyond the ordinary and into the truly unbelievable, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, because this is exactly the kind of story we bring you every single week. But here's the part that will truly shake you, the place we have saved for last. Number 1 on this list is not just unusual. It is the kind of place that makes scientists pause, that makes travelers stop mid-sentence when they try to describe it, and that has quietly become one of the most fragile and threatened wonders on the face of the earth. You will not see it coming, and once you do, you will not forget it. Stay with us until the very end, because number 1 will completely change the way you think about the relationship between human civilization and the natural world. And if at any point during this video your mind is blown, drop a comment below and tell us which place shocked you the most. We read every single comment, and your responses genuinely shape the content we create next. For thousands of years, human beings have done something that no other species has ever managed quite so stubbornly or so creatively. They have refused to accept the limitations of their environment. Where there was nothing but raw, hostile wilderness, they planted flags, laid foundations, and called it home. But even within that long history of human determination, there are places that cross the line from impressive into something that feels almost mythological. The 5 places you are about to discover are exactly that, and they will challenge everything you think you know about where life is possible. What makes these communities truly remarkable is not just their location, it is the depth of life that has taken root inside them. These are not frozen relics preserved behind glass for tourists to photograph and walk away from. These are living, breathing places with schools, markets, festivals, and generations of people who have chosen time and time again to stay. And in a world where climate change, rising sea levels, and modern pressures are quietly closing in, their stories have never mattered more. Number 5. Chefchaouen, Morocco. There is a city tucked deep inside the Rif Mountains of northern Morocco that looks less like a real place and more like something a painter dreamed up after staring at the sky for too long. Every wall, every staircase, every doorway, every narrow winding alley painted in the most extraordinary, unbroken shade of blue you have ever seen in your life. Not one shade of blue, but dozens: cobalt, powder, royal, indigo, and everything in between, layered across an entire city like a living, breathing work of art. This is Chefchaouen, and it has been quietly sitting in those mountains for over 500 years, asking to be discovered. Chefchaouen was founded in the year 1471, originally built as a small fortress to resist Portuguese invasions along the Moroccan coast. For centuries, it remained almost completely closed to outsiders, so isolated and so fiercely protected by its residents that non-Muslims were actually forbidden from entering the city until as recently as 1920. The city developed its own unique culture, its own dialect, its own architectural identity entirely separate from the rest of the world pressing in around it. And when the outside world finally arrived, what they found left them completely speechless. Now, here is where it gets truly fascinating, because the blue is not just decorative, and its origin is not as simple as it first appears. One widely held belief is that the blue was introduced by Jewish refugees who fled to Chefchaouen during the Spanish Inquisition in 1492, bringing with them a tradition of painting living spaces blue as a symbol of the sky and of heaven. Another theory suggests the color was used practically to repel mosquitoes, since certain shades of blue are known to deter insects in warm climates. But the most poetic explanation, and the one the residents themselves often speak of, is that the blue is meant to remind every person walking through its streets that the sky above them and everything beyond it is sacred. Today, approximately 45,000 people call Chefchaouen home, and they live inside what has become one of the most photographed cities on the entire planet. The Medina, or Old City Center, is a UNESCO-recognized cultural heritage site, drawing visitors from every corner of the world who come to stand inside those blue alleyways and feel something they cannot quite put into words. But even with the cameras and the tourists and the global attention, the people of Chefchaouen have held fiercely onto their identity, their hand-woven textiles, their goat cheese markets, their rooftop calls to prayer echoing across the blue rooftops at dawn. It is a city that exists in its own dimension, somewhere between the ancient and the eternal, and somehow it makes the impossible look effortless. Number 4. Ushguli, Georgia. There is a place in the world where winter does not simply arrive, it conquers. It descends from the mountains like an army, sealing roads, burying pathways, and cutting off an entire community from the rest of civilization for up to 6 months at a time. And yet, when the snow finally melts and the world outside comes rushing back in, the people of this village are still there, exactly where they have always been, living inside stone towers that have stood for nearly 1,000 years. This is Ushguli, Georgia, and it is officially recognized as the highest continuously inhabited settlement in the entire continent of Europe. Ushguli sits at an elevation of approximately 2,200 meters, roughly 7,200 feet above sea level, nestled deep inside the greater Caucasus mountain range in the Svaneti region of northwestern Georgia. It is not one village, but a cluster of 4 small hamlets pressed together against the mountains, home to a community of just around 70 families who have lived here across generations, stretching back further than written records can clearly trace. The landscape surrounding them is so dramatic and so severe that it looks less like a place where people choose to live and more like a place that was carved by forces far larger than anything human. Glaciers hang above the village like frozen curtains, and the peak of Mount Shkara, the highest mountain in Georgia, looms over the community at over 5,000 meters, watching everything below it like a silent, indifferent giant. What makes Ushguli truly unlike anywhere else on Earth is not just its altitude, it is the towers. Scattered across the village and the surrounding hillsides are dozens of medieval span towers, built between the 9th and 12th centuries, rising between 20 and 25 meters into the sky, with walls so thick and so precisely constructed that they have survived nearly 1,000 years of avalanches, earthquakes, invasions, and some of the most brutal winters on the European continent. These towers were not built for decoration. They were built for survival, serving as both defensive fortifications and last resort refuges when enemy clans came raiding through the mountain passes. Each tower belonged to a specific family, and the height of your tower was a direct statement of your family's power and standing within the community. Today, Ushguli is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognized not just for its extraordinary architecture, but for the living culture that has survived inside it against every conceivable odds. The Svan people who live here speak their own ancient language Svan, which belongs to a language family so old and so isolated that it has no close relatives in any other known linguistic group on Earth. They maintain their own traditions, their own music, their own system of customary law that predates the Georgian state itself by centuries. And every winter, when the snow walls them in and the satellite phone becomes the only connection to the outside world, they simply do what their ancestors have always done. They endure, they adapt, and they remain. Number 3. Monemvasia, Greece. Imagine a city so perfectly hidden that for centuries, entire armies sailed past it without ever knowing it was there. A city built inside a rock, not beside it, not near it, but literally carved into the interior of a massive volcanic cliff, rising straight out of the Mediterranean Sea. A city with no cars, no roads wide enough for anything with wheels, no address that a modern navigation system could ever locate, and yet, people have been living inside it continuously for over 1,400 years. This is Monemvasia, Greece, and it is without question one of the most astonishing secrets the ancient world ever managed to keep. Monemvasia sits off the southeastern coast of the Peloponnese Peninsula in southern Greece, connected to the mainland by a single narrow causeway so thin and so unassuming that you could drive past it on the coastal road without ever realizing that an entire medieval city was hiding just a few 100 meters away behind the rock face. The name Monemvasia itself tells the whole story. It comes from two Greek words, meaning single and entrance, because there is literally only one way in and one way out of this city. One tunnel cut through the base of the cliff, barely wide enough for two people to walk through side by side, and on the other side of that tunnel, an entire world that time forgot. The city was founded in 583 AD, when the local population fled to the safety of the rock to escape waves of invading Slavic tribes sweeping down through the Greek peninsula. What they built inside that rock over the centuries that followed was nothing short of extraordinary. Monemvasia became one of the most important trading ports in the entire Byzantine Empire, a fortress city so strategically positioned and so naturally defended that it changed hands between the Byzantines, the Franks, the Venetians, and the Ottoman Empire across nearly 1,000 years of Mediterranean history, with each civilization leaving its architectural fingerprints on the city's walls, churches, and cobblestone pathways. At its peak, Monemvasia was home to approximately 50,000 people, an almost incomprehensible number for a city built inside a cliff face, and it produced one of the most celebrated wines in medieval Europe, a rich and intensely sweet wine known as Malmsey, which was exported across the entire known world and drunk in the royal courts of England, France, and beyond. The English word Malvasia, used for an entire family of grape varieties still grown in Mediterranean vineyards today, is directly derived from the name of this hidden rock city. Today, the permanent population of Monemvasia has fallen to somewhere between 100 and 200 residents, a whisper of the tens of thousands who once crowded its narrow streets during the height of its power. But what remains is preserved with a care and an attention to detail that feels almost reverential. The Byzantine churches, The Venetian mansions, the Ottoman fountains, the ancient cannons still pointed out toward the open sea from the upper fortress walls. Walking through Monemvasia today is not like visiting a museum. It is like stepping directly into the living body of history, where every stone has a memory and every doorway opens into a story that the rest of the world has almost completely forgotten. And the people who live there permanently, the small, fiercely proud community that has chosen to remain inside the rock, carry all of that history with them every single day, as naturally as breathing. Number 2. Koh Panyee, Thailand. Picture a village with no ground beneath it. No soil, no bedrock, no foundation that connects to the earth in any conventional sense of the word. Just open water stretching out in every direction, and rising from the middle of that water, a fully functioning, vibrantly alive community of over 1,000 people, built entirely on bamboo poles hammered into the floor of a shallow bay. This is Koh Panyee, Thailand, and it is one of the most astonishing examples of human ingenuity and cultural determination that the modern world has ever produced. Koh Panyee is located in Phang Nga Bay in southern Thailand, one of the most dramatically beautiful bodies of water on the planet, surrounded by towering limestone karst formations that rise vertically from the sea like the fingers of some ancient buried giant. The village clings to the side of one of these limestone cliffs, extending outward over the water on a vast wooden and bamboo platform that has been expanded, reinforced, and rebuilt by its residents across more than 200 years of continuous habitation. The story of how it began traces back to the late 18th century, when a small group of Muslim sea nomads of Malay origin arrived in the bay looking for a place to settle. The surrounding land was entirely claimed, so they did what their seafaring instincts had always prepared them to do. They built their home on the water itself. What grew from those first few bamboo poles driven into the seabed is today a village so complete, so fully realized, and so deeply alive that it challenges every assumption a visitor brings with them about what a community needs in order to function. Koh Panyee has a mosque, a school, multiple restaurants, a floating football pitch. Yes, a football pitch built on a platform above the water with the ocean waiting on every side for any ball kicked too wide a market, a medical clinic, and a generator system that powers the entire community through the night. The approximately 1,100 residents who live here today are almost entirely Muslim, descendants of those original Malay sea nomads, and they have maintained their religious traditions, their fishing culture, and their tight-knit community identity with a consistency that is nothing short of remarkable across more than 2 centuries. There are no cars here, no motorcycles, no roads, only narrow wooden walkways connecting house to house, and long-tail boats bobbing at the edge of every doorstep like parked vehicles, waiting to carry their owners out across the bay. But the story that has captured the imagination of the entire world, the story that turned Koh Panyee from a remarkable local curiosity into a global symbol of something much deeper, is the story of its football team. In 1986, a group of young boys from the village watched the FIFA World Cup on a small television and became so completely consumed by what they saw that they decided, with absolutely no resources and no flat ground anywhere near them, to build their own football pitch. They dismantled old boats, collected driftwood, gathered every scrap of floating timber they could find, and constructed a platform above the water where they could play. The surface was uneven, the posts were improvised. The ball spent more time in the sea than in the air, and yet within a few years, the Koh Panyee Football Club had become one of the most celebrated youth football stories in all of the land, reaching national competitions and inspiring a television advertisement that went on to receive tens of millions of views around the world and became one of the most emotionally powerful sports commercials ever made. That story, a group of children building a football field over the open ocean because they refused to accept that geography was a reason to give up on a dream, is perhaps the most perfect summary of everything Panyee represents. This is a community that has never once treated the water beneath its feet as a barrier. It has always treated it as a foundation, something to build on, something to live with, something to love. And in doing so, the people of Panyee have created not just a village, but a philosophy, one that says the most impossible places in the world are only impossible until someone decides they are not. Number 1. Huacachina, Peru. There is a place in South America that looks so completely and utterly impossible that the first time most people see a photograph of it, their immediate instinct is to assume it has been digitally altered. A circle of impossibly green water, ringed by palm trees swaying gently in a desert wind, surrounded on every side by sand dunes, so enormous they blot out the horizon and make the sky above them look like it belongs to another planet entirely. No river feeds it. No rainfall sustains it. No logical explanation satisfies the question of why it exists at all in the middle of one of the most arid, lifeless, and brutally dry stretches of land on the face of the earth. This is Huacachina, Peru, and it is the most surreal, the most fragile, and the most quietly heartbreaking place on this entire list. Huacachina sits inside the Ica Desert in southwestern Peru, approximately 5 kilometers from the city of Ica, buried within the coastal desert that forms part of the larger Chefchaouen desert system, stretching along the Pacific coast of South America. This desert is not simply dry, it is one of the driest places on Earth, a landscape so barren and so hostile that some parts of it go decades without recording a single drop of rainfall. And yet, rising from the floor of this desert like a vision from a fever dream is a natural lagoon of deep green water stretching approximately 250 meters in length, fed not by any surface water source but by underground water channels filtering down from the Andes Mountains far to the east. The dunes surrounding it climb to heights of up to 100 meters, some of the tallest desert dunes in all of South America, curving around the lagoon like enormous golden arms, holding something precious and impossibly delicate. The people of the Inca civilization, who knew this place long before the Spanish arrived in South America, did not simply see Huacachina as a geographical curiosity. They saw it as something sacred, a gift from forces beyond human understanding, and the legends they built around it are as beautiful and as haunting as the place itself. The most enduring of those legends tells the story of a princess, a beautiful and powerful woman discovered bathing in a hidden pool by a hunter who stumbled upon her by accident. Startled and enraged by the intrusion, the princess fled, and as she ran, her cloak billowed out behind her and became the sweeping dunes that now surround the lagoon on every side. The pool she left behind became the oasis, and the princess herself, according to the legend, became the mermaid said to still inhabit the depths of Huacachina's green waters, luring travelers who come too close to the edge into the lagoon's depths, never to return. For most of the 20th century, Huacachina was one of Peru's most beloved and celebrated natural destinations, a place where wealthy Peruvian families built elegant summer villas along the water's edge, where musicians played through warm desert evenings, where the lagoon glittered under starlight. Skies so clear and so vast that the entire Milky Way was reflected on the surface of the water like a second universe, looking back up at the first. At its most vibrant, the village surrounding the lagoon was home to a small but thriving permanent community, and the oasis was deep enough and full enough that small boats could be rowed across it without touching the bottom. It was, by every measure, one of the natural wonders of South America. Fragile, Yes, but alive and magnificent and seemingly eternal. But here is the truth that makes Huacachina the most shocking place on this entire list, and the truth that the tourism photographs and the travel brochures almost never tell you. Huacachina is dying. The underground aquifer system that feeds the lagoon, the same ancient network of water channels filtering down from the Andes that created this miracle in the middle of a desert, has been steadily and catastrophically depleted by agricultural irrigation projects in the surrounding region over the past several decades. As the water table has dropped, the lagoon has shrunk dramatically, visibly, heartbreakingly, to the point where scientists and environmental researchers have raised serious alarms about the long-term survival of the oasis in anything close to its natural form. By some measurements, the water level in Huacachina has dropped by several meters compared to its historical levels, and the lagoon has lost a significant portion of its original surface area within living memory. The Peruvian government has intervened multiple times, pumping water artificially back into the lagoon to maintain its appearance and prevent it from disappearing entirely beneath the desert's sand. Which means that the place millions of people travel across the world to see, the place that appears on Peru's 50-sol banknote as a symbol of the country's natural heritage. The place that looks in photographs like proof that miracles are real is being kept alive artificially, sustained by pumps and pipelines rather than the natural underground springs that gave birth to it. The approximately 100 permanent residents who live around the lagoon today, the small community of families running hotels, restaurants, sandboarding operations, and dune buggy tours along the water's edge, are living in a place that is simultaneously one of the most beautiful and one of the most endangered communities on this planet. They wake up every morning beside a wonder that is slowly disappearing beneath their feet, and they carry that knowledge with them, the way people carry grief quietly, daily, and without letting it stop them from living. Huacachina is not just a place that should not exist. It is a place that is running out of time to keep existing at all. And in that tension between the impossible beauty of what it is and the very real possibility of what it might soon become, it stands as the most powerful reminder this video could possibly offer. That the most extraordinary places in the world are not guaranteed to last forever. That the communities built in impossible locations are not invincible simply because they have survived this long. And that the world we live in has a habit of taking its most irreplaceable things and quietly, gradually, letting them slip away while we are still busy being amazed by them. 5 places. 5 communities. 5 stories of human beings refusing to surrender to the impossible. A blue city hidden in the mountains of Morocco. A stone village locked in ice for half the year in Georgia. A medieval world reachable only through a single tunnel in Greece. A floating village above the open waters of Thailand. And a dying oasis in the heart of one of the driest deserts on Earth, kept alive by pumps, pipelines, and the quiet stubbornness of the people who refuse to leave. What connects all 5 of these places is not geography. It is a decision, made over and over across generations, to call the impossible home. And every single one of them is a reminder that the world is far stranger, far more beautiful, and far more fragile than most of us ever stop to appreciate. Which place moved you the most? Drop it in the comments right now. We read every single one. If this video gave you even one moment of genuine wonder, hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who sees the world with curiosity. We will see you in the next one.